today, we are going to talk about an incident that happened in Texas. It's actually now it's in May 21st, so almost 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago. And it involved a jihadist trying to enter an actual military installation in the Corpus Christi, Texas area. And it's the Naval Air Station there. And this shooter, Adam al-Sahali, however you say his name, showed up at this military installation in San Antonio, began firing. Fortunately for us, fortunately for America, the guard was very well prepared. Even though she was injured by gunfire, she had on a vest, so she was protected. She rallied and she was able to shoot back and to kill this guy who was trying to invade an American military base. Obviously a story that could have had a horrible outcome had he been successful in entering the installation, been unaware, not ready for him. But fortunately for America, this young woman who was serving as a guard at the entrance was able to stop him. I invited John Guandolo on the show today to talk about that incident. But I also want to be clear that a lot of what we're watching in this country, the just astonishing uprising, the almost instantaneous uprising of violence all around this country, allegedly springing off of some apparently very bad conduct by a Minneapolis police officer in killing an unarmed black man and making an arrest for, of all things, a $20, trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. So the incident in Minneapolis was caught, as everyone in America knows now, caught on a video camera and seen around the world. But from that incident to a mere 24 hours later, and now 48, 72 hours later, America has erupted into violence. As we talked about yesterday in the show, this is not naturally occurring violence. This is not truly a just spontaneous, organic response to an incident that people are upset about. Is actually very much part of an ongoing, as I was calling it yesterday, talking with Star Parker, and on the whole show yesterday, talking about these are groups long in place, happily in place, ready to pounce on attacking America and just waiting for an instant that would justify protest. So we saw the map yesterday by former New York City Police Commissioner Carrick, who laid out the gigantic U.S. map and all of the incidents around the country. And basically his comment was, raise your hand if you think all of this could have been coordinated overnight. I mean, how much money was involved? This is obviously not organic. We need to understand this is, as I was saying yesterday, this is America under assault. This is not about black versus white. This is about having America or siding with people who would destroy America. The Antifa organization, segments of Black Lives Matter, radical Marxists in this country, socialists in this country, the entire just ugly cabal of the American left is all very much using this unfortunate incident in Minneapolis to spring off of and justify their violent behavior. I want to just show you something. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. This was a flyer that appeared on Facebook, and I think Matt the Wonderful has it. This relates to something that's was supposed to happen last night in Allen, Texas. And I can ask him, so look at this thing. Allen, Justice for George Floyd riot. They're advertising a riot. Bring weapons. We will be assaulting cops. This is actually run on Facebook. Justice for George. My brother is bringing a Molotov with him. I'm not going to read bad words on air, but you can see what they're threatening. They're threatening violence. And so this was from last night. And they have other ones around this country. My point is, groups of all kinds of extreme radicals in this country are using that incident as a springboard to justify violence. And we're going to tie in with, I started in the first 5 today, and I'll wrap up by saying this. I started talking about the incident in Corpus Christi here in Texas on May 21st, where a jihadist tried to get into a military installation in America. What I want to dig in and talk about with John Guandolo in our next segment is this. There is, and we've talked about this before in the show, but there's a political connection between Marxist, radical leftists in this country, the kind of leftists who would support Antifa, would support Black Lives Matter violence, would support the radical socialist Marxist movement in this country, and Islamists in this country who are pushing Islam ultimately to be forced upon the American people. But at this point, those two interests, which might seem as though they are disjointed, are actually very connected. In fact, in Minnesota, of all bizarre coincidences, the Attorney General in Minnesota, Keith Ellison, he is in charge of prosecuting the police officer who was involved in the incident in which George Floyd lost his life. So Keith Ellison, a former member of Congress, a Muslim Attorney General in Minnesota, his own son announced on social media, I think yesterday or the day before, that he is coming out in support of Antifa. You had Ilhan Omar, the Democrat Muslim member of Congress from the Minneapolis area, serving in her first term in Congress. Her daughter, Ilhan Omar's daughter, tweeting out support for the Antifa protesters, helping people know where they need to go to get supplies. The daughter of the governor of Minnesota, the governor of Minnesota, Walz, his last name, W-A-L-Z, his daughter Hope was tweeting out, helping the protesters figure out where the police were going to be. I think Matt the Wonderful has her tweets from her. If I can just show you what she had to say. This is the daughter of the governor of Minnesota tweeting out, could someone who actually has followers relay, she can't spell besides, relay to the masses that have gotten National Guard trending that the Guard will not be present tonight. There's a lot of misinformation that is further spreading fear and chaos at this scene of the protest. She's helping the protesters figure out, there's another one by her too, Hope Walz. She's helping the protesters figure out where the National Guard will be so that they can avoid being arrested or detained or stopped. This is the daughter of the governor of Minnesota tweeting this out. I don't know if Matt has any other tweets from her, maybe not. Okay, we don't have it anyway. But yeah, here you go. So someone's trying to say, hey, look out, the National Guard is coming. Some guy, Sean Lim, she's responding, the Guard cannot be sent in within minutes. It takes time for them to deploy because they come from all over the state. To be clear, the National Guard will not be present tonight. So you have leftist governor, a very leftist governor in Minnesota, daughter trying to help the protesters figure out how to avoid the National Guard. This is leftism rising up in America. We better be alert to it. And that, my friends, is today's First Five.